What's up, friends? It's quelanarsha. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Guys, welcome back, and welcome back. So, y'all seen that title, y'all. Baby, this has been a long. This has been a long 2 weeks for me, okay? Long 2 weeks. I haven't posted in like 2 weeks. A week and a half going on 2 weeks. And, y'all, I'm here to tell y'all that I've been going through a lot these past 2 weeks, okay? I could have picked up. That didn't give me a reason not to pick up my camera and vlog. I mean, some of it did, but it was like, baby, when you're going through something, you just want to shut the whole world off. And that's the state I was in a couple of days ago. Last Wednesday, I ended up having to rush my baby to the hospital, y'all. And it started off with a doctor's appointment. And then from there, I had to rush him to the hospital. So basically, getting into the story, I had ended up taking my baby to the hospital last Wednesday, like I was saying, and I ended up going. My baby was sick. He got sick Sunday, and like coughing and stuff like that. Like he was just like he was like coughing. Both of my kids actually was sick, and I ended up giving Junior some cough medicine. And stuff like that. And Zaire, I be like very careful about what I give him, only because he have a heart condition. I don't want him to take medicine without getting okay from his cardiologist first. That's just how I am with my baby. I'm just like that. Like even if it could be any small little thing, I'm okay with his cardiologist right away. Okay, y'all had to grab my camera because like my phone like decided that it wanted to go dead. It wanted to go dead. So basically, let me zoom in. I ain't used my camera so long, y'all, because I'm always used to use my phone. Okay, so basically after that, y'all, yes, he was like so like fussy and whiny and stuff like that. So after that, so basically what we had ended up doing was I contacted his cardiologist and basically told him, was telling him like Zaire was like very like, you know, very fussy and agitated and stuff like that. And he was like, sending him a video of how Zaire was acting. So we had end up sending him a video and basically of his breathing. And he basically was saying like Zaire was, you know, he was still saying like he was breathing a little faster than normal. The exact words was he was breathing a little faster than normal, but still he was like, but just to, you know, keep monitoring him and stuff like that. If anything changed, bring him in. So I'm like, okay. So I did tell him that Zaire had he was like a little congested and he was coughing and stuff like that. So he basically just told me like, just get him some Tylenol, because I told him like he had a fever of 100. I'm like, he do have a fever of 100, and he was like, just bring him some, just get him some Tylenol, and you know it should calm him down and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. So I was able to get him Tylenol, and he calmed down a tad bit. He calmed down a little bit, and he was back fussy and stuff. So I ended up going to work. So when I had the next day, this was like 10-something Tuesday night. So the next day I ended up getting up, going to work. And the next day I had ended up checking his fever and his temperature, and he didn't have no fever. So once I seen that he didn't have no fever, I ended up going to work. So I'm like, okay, he should be fine. His breathing it got a tad bit better. It got a little better. And I was checking on him like throughout the day at work, and I ended up getting off at 12 this day. I ended up getting off at 12, you know, 11:30 to be exact. Because I supposed to be, when I went to work, I was off. And I didn't even know until one of my coworkers was like, you know you off today? I'm like, huh? And she was like, yes. I'm like, okay, well, my baby already don't feel well, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just go home, because, you know, I didn't know I was off. So I ended up leaving anyway. And I had called the doctor's office, and the doctor's office that my kids go to, they don't open on Thursdays. So I didn't want to wait till Friday. I'm like, well, today they have walk-ins only, and I'm like, I don't want a chance to like just sitting up there all day, and I'm like, well, I ain't have nothing else to do. So I'm like, I might as well. I just told Isaiah, just go ahead and get the baby ready, and we're gonna go ahead and take him to the doctor. So Junior, he was feeling better by then. Junior ended up going to school. We ended up sending him to school, so he was feeling better. And Zaire, he was still like iffy, like I was saying. So after that, after we end up taking him to the doctor and stuff, I took him to the doctor, and I had told them, like, you know, Zaire, he's like feeling funny, and I'm like, I wanted to make, I'm like, can I make his doctor's appointment for Friday if y'all think I can? I'm like, I want y'all to look at him and let me know what you guys like. Y'all the doctors and stuff like that, give me y'all judgment on what y'all think I should do. Should I make an appointment for Friday, because like their doctor's office was jam packed, y'all. But by Zaire having his like heart condition, by Zaire having his heart condition, like they know Zaire like the back of his head. So they took us right away. Like we went in, I was finna sign in. I had told the lady that worked behind it, that's how I love her, so she's so sweet. I had told her, like, just let me know what you think, like, I should do. Like, should I make a doctor's appointment for Friday for Zaire? Because I'm like, I know y'all like jam-packed right now, and I don't want to wait this long. She was like, I'm like, he's been breathing kind of fun. So she was like, looked at him. She had told me to pull his shirt up and stuff. So she was looked at his breathing. She said, bring him to the back right away. So I brought him to the back, and she had went to go get the doctor. And his heart, my baby's heart rate was so high, y'all, that the doctor couldn't even monitor his heart rate. So he couldn't even keep up with it. So right away he told me to call his cardiologist. And man, this was the pediatrician who I took them to. I took Zaire to his pediatrician office. And they told me to call the cardiologist and tell them like he needs to come to the hospital, because like he's breathing so fast, but yet he was still like himself, y'all. Like he was still himself. So end up contacting the cardiologist, and they had spoke with, you know, his pediatrician. And the pediatrician basically told us, like, you know, go ahead, take him to the doctor. I mean, the ER, just rush him to the hospital. Well, now, he was still okay for him to, because they basically asked the doctor, the cardiologist asked the doctor, like, do you think that mom is okay to basically drive Zaire to the doctor's appointment, or do you need should she drive the ambulance? And he was like, no, she'll be fine. You know, she leaves there from here right away. It's only like 30 minutes from my house. So she was like, she'll be fine. And the doctor's appointment, the pediatrician office is 5 minutes from my house, not even that. But the cardiologist is like, the cardiologist is 30 minutes from my house. So he was like, she'll be fine, this and the other. So on our way going there, y'all, it was just a whole mess, y'all. We went there, and Zaire, now imagine it was just me, because Isaiah had to still stay behind because he had to pick Junior from school at 3:30. And man, by this time it was only 12:30, and no telling what time we was gonna leave from out there. So it was just me in the car, me and Zaire. So on our way out there, Zaire, he was still himself, but then something told me, I kept on looking back to, you know, check on him and stuff, and he threw up, y'all. So whatever Isaiah gave him like that morning, he had threw it up. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So y'all had to pull up to the side, y'all, because imagine I was on the highway and the traffic was like very, very busy. So I had to pull over to the side and, you know, get him together, because he was throwing up. He only threw up once, but I had to still, I didn't want him to choke on his vomit. So I had to get him to the get him together. And then after that, you know, I went on to the hospital, and they ended up checking him in right away. And the emergency room was jam-packed. But once again, they know my baby was born at this hospital, and they knew that we was coming. So they ended up rushing him to the back right away, and hook him up to the EKG machine, checking his vitals, checking his heart rate and his oxygen, y'all. My baby's heart rate was super high. It was in the 200s, y'all. And the normal heart rate is between 80 to the normal heart rate is between 80, for normal heart rate for the cardiac kids is between 80 and 200. But Zaire was in the high 200, like high 200s. So they gave him, they was trying to keep on poking him with the IV and stuff, and his IV, like the line just kept on, it would not go through because they couldn't get no blood. So they just kept on like trying like different spots in his arm and stuff. Finally, y'all, they end up having to put an IV through his bone area. So they did a IVO IV, basically, which that IV is different. Is when they you drill an IV in your arm they drill IV in your arm for it to go through your bone, so you can, like right then and there, your medicine, your body gonna take, right then and there, the IV gonna draw the blood because it's not in your vein, it's in your bone. So that's what they had to do for Zaire because his vein was so little, y'all, they couldn't get no other wear. So I'm like, oh my goodness, y'all, and I'm all trying to I was calling Isaiah, let him know, like, get to the hospital right away because it was like, I was like so scared, y'all. Like, it was, y'all, literally like 20 doctors, nurses in there one time, like working on my baby, like not like working on him, like it didn't take 20 of them, but you know, people would pay me this medicine, do this, like, you know, everybody was like, pay me this, do this, hook this up, and then they would like bring all these different machines in because like his heart rate was so high and they had to hurry up and get it down before, God forbid, anything else could happen. So I'm like, I'm over here trying to keep myself calm, and y'all, I haven't ate or drunk nothing none that day. And imagine, it was bad. This time it was like 2 something, and I haven't ate or drank nothing none that day. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I was like get to feeling lightheaded and dizzy, and then on top of this, my baby was like on the table crying, whatever. When I was on the hospital bed, he just kept on saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," and I'm like, oh my goodness, and I felt so bad because I was right there with him, but I couldn't really do anything, only because, like, you know, it was like they was doing everything, like they was doing everything. So they gave him, when they finally did the medicine, the first medicine that they gave him, the first dose didn't work at all. It was like a 0.5 dose. It was some high, whatever kind of medicine. It was like some high-tech medicine to bring your heart rate down right away. That first medicine didn't work. So they basically told me, like, there was another doctor, like, standing back while they was operating on him, like, you know, taking care of him. Basically saying, like, give me the information what they was doing to him. Basically, she was saying, like, this medicine don't work, then we're gonna give him a second dose. If that one don't work, then we're gonna do another dose of medicine, a different kind though. So they was basically doing all these. So the first dose didn't work. So they gave him they had to go care from the cardiologist to see if the second dose, to give him a second dose. So the second dose, the cardiologist was like, boom, just go ahead, give it to him. So they gave it to him. His heart rate went down for literally like 5 or 10 seconds, went boom, went right back up to where it was at. And yes, it went right back to where it was at, y'all. My baby heart rate was in 288. Yes, it was that high. So I'm like, oh my goodness, y'all. So when they gave him when they gave him the medicine, when it went back up or whatever, it went back up to like 270. Mind you, it went from 288 to 270. So it was still up there, but it went down, like, you know, it went down a tad bit, and then it kept on gradually going back to where it was at. So they end up having to do another medicine, like probably like 10-20 minutes later. Well, not even that many minutes later. They end up waiting on the cardiologist to come. So when the cardiologist came, they end up you know, talking to the cardiologist as to like what they wanted to do with him next, you know, as far as getting him his heart rate down. So he was crying, y'all. So you know, when you cry, your heart rate just still elevate to the top. And I'm right here with my baby, like saying, like, mommy is right here. You're holding his fingers, rubbing his hair, rubbing his toes. So I was right there with my baby, y'all. But it was like, dang, like, I couldn't really do anything except to let them work on it, because like they needed his heart rate needs to be down. So they did end up finally getting his heart rate down. When once they talked to the cardiologist, they finally end up getting his heart rate down. And me and Isaiah, by this time Isaiah had came up to the hospital. So when they finally got his heart rate down, they got it down to its normal rhythm to 100. So they finally got it down, boom, and dropped it all the way down. After like 30 minutes later, y'all, like they was working on my baby. And the second type of medicine that they had gave him, it was working. It was working, but it was working slowly. So they basically was saying like the medicine is working, but it's slowly, but it wasn't as fast as they wanted to work, because like I said, his heart rate was high for so long, like they didn't want to just keep on trying all these different meds, and that's when they finally went down to the hundreds. And they ended up having to admit my baby. So they basically said that they wanted to monitor him and stuff to admit. So they admitted him in the hospital, and they wanted to monitor him. And yeah, they monitored him. They said they monitored him for 2 days. So they said 24 hours. Then 24 hours turned to 48 hours. So I mean, I was okay with it, long as, like, you know, just do what y'all gotta do for my baby. I was right there. I wasn't going to leave his side now damn time, y'all, okay? I was not leaving my baby's side now damn time. So I was okay with it. Isaiah, he was like a little upset, only because he didn't want him to stay in the hospital. But I had to explain to Isaiah, like, you know, when something like this happening, like, they have to monitor you, not even just him, with anybody. They have to monitor you to make sure that, you know, they have to monitor him to make sure that he's good, his heart rate don't go back up, because they want his heart rate to go, you know, drop down to where they want it to be. Then boom, he sent him home, and then God forbid something else happened and it go back up. So we didn't even know his heart rate was high. If I never took my baby to the pediatrician appointment with his pediatrician, walk in that day, I would never know his heart rate was high, only because he was still acting normal. He was. Like, he only threw up that one time when we was in the car on our way to the hospital. Like, he wasn't giving me no signs as to his heart rate was high. And he was still playing and stuff like that. Like I said, he was crying fussy and stuff, but I thought maybe he was fussy or crying only because, you know, he didn't feel good. Not knowing that, you know, his heart rate was jam-packed that damn high. So I was like, nope, So I ended up having to, you know, I stayed there. Definitely admitted my baby to the PCICU floor, which is the pediatrician intensive care unit. And yeah, he was there. He was still, so when they finally had got it down, they had went upstairs. They had to wait till a room became available. So when they waited for a room to become available, they ended up taking him upstairs to the PCICU. And, you know, we ended up going up there together, and he was fine. For the rest of that day, he was fine. They did still want to monitor his heart rate and stuff like that. And, you know, they gave him his heart medicine, some heart medicine to keep his heart rate stable so it won't go back up. And it's like when you know your baby, you know, like, you know it's not them. And that's what the doctor's basically saying. Like, that's good that that's good that actually that me and Isaiah actually know our baby, because a lot of parents don't know their kids. Yeah, you can have your baby all day long, but if you don't really pay attention to them and pay attention to like how they breathe or how they acting and stuff like that, that's not gonna mean anything. It's not, because it's like pointless, because I know my baby. So I know how he breathes, even with his heart condition. I know how he breathes. I know how he acting. I know when he fussy. Zaire didn't even want nothing to eat that night. Like that Tuesday when I fed them dinner and stuff like that, Zaire, he was just so fussy. Like, my baby love food, okay? Like, anybody in my family can tell y'all, vouch for y'all that actually like that he loved food. Zaire did not want no food that night at all. So it was like, that's what made me call his cardiologist, because it's like, for one, he's not breathing right, for one. For two, like, he don't want this food. I gave him a piece of Hawaiian. He loved Hawaiian rolls, y'all. Like, my baby loved Hawaiian rolls. I gave him some chicken nuggets and fries. He loved chicken nuggets and fries. He didn't even want that. He wanted bread, but he wanted the bread. He was trying to like eat it, but then he was like, nah, he didn't want it. He kept getting up in the middle of the night, like fussing and crying and stuff, and I just couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. Like, I couldn't. And Isaiah basically told me, like, we could have took him to the hospital then, but I'm like, his cardiologist said he was fine. So it was like, okay, maybe, you know, he is fine, this, that, and the other. But I'm glad that I did get my baby to the hospital when I got him. And I'm glad I didn't wait till Friday, because I'm off work on Friday. So I'm like, maybe I can take him to the hospital on Friday when I'm off. But somebody just kept on telling me, like, no, take your baby to the doctor today, okay? Like, take him today. So that's when I took him today. That's when I found out that his heart rate was so high. And Thursday, he did end up, he was back normal, eat to himself. His heart rate didn't go back into the iridium where it was at, like being high. So thank God for that. He didn't have to go back in there for a high heart rate. The medicine that they gave him is like sedation medicine, which make you sleepy and drowsy. So while they were doing his echo ultrasound, after they gave him the medicine to make sure his heart and stuff was still like functioning and stuff right, they did do an echogram. He did end up falling asleep and stuff. And I'm finna say something, y'all. Forgot what I'm finna say. He ended up falling asleep and his oxygen level had dropped a tad bit, only because the medicine that they gave him was sedation medicine. And when you sedated, your oxygen tends to drop. Like with anybody, your oxygen tends to drop. So they did give him a tad bit of oxygen so his oxygen can go back up and, you know, be back stable. So he was on there for like, what, an hour? And they took it off of him. And he was fine for the rest of the stay at the hospital. So it was like, y'all, if I was like going through, okay, honey, I was going through. And then Thursday, he was fine. He did eat, you know, they had made him, brought him some pizza, some fries, chicken nuggets, fries. He was fine. He was content. He ate, you know, pancakes and stuff like that. He was eating. My baby, that's how I knew that they got him back together, because baby, he was back eating his normal self. He was back being his normal self. Like, okay, this is the Zaire that mommy know, okay? He was like, he still didn't want mommy to leave his side though. He still didn't want me to go to the bathroom and under that, y'all. Like, y'all, he did not want that. By that time, Isaiah had to go get Junior and stuff like that. So once, you know, they did get Zaire's heart rate down to, you know, where it's supposed to be, Isaiah had to go get Junior from school. And this, by this being the school week, Isaiah had to still, like, you know, get Junior prepared for school and stuff. So it was like either one of us at the hospital and the other go get Junior, or vice versa. So that's how that went. So Friday we did end up getting discharged from the hospital. They wanted to monitor him 48 hours from the time he was brought in. So since I brought him at the hospital at 12:30, they wanted to make sure that his heart rate didn't go back high. You know, they still want to monitor him for 48 hours from the time that I brought him in the hospital. So he did stay, like I said, for 2 days. And he was content, he was fine. And then yesterday, y'all, yesterday was Sunday. Saturday, y'all, Isaiah had got up here, wanted to go to the gym and stuff. So I got up here, wanted to go play basketball with his friends and stuff. So I had let him do that. Well, he ended up going to go do that. So Zed called me like literally like an hour after he got done playing, after he was playing basketball, told me that he hurt his knee. He needs his crutches out the closet. So Isaiah hurt his knee back in May, and he still had his crutches from when he had, so his ACL, I think it's ACL or MCL, one of them, and his knee. So I'm like, okay. So I brought him his crutches thinking like he was okay, and he wants some ibuprofen. I'm like, cool. So I was at home cleaning up, trying to get my house together, doing laundry. Like, yeah, I was doing everything because we had just came from the hospital Friday, and here it is Saturday. I'm trying to still get my house together, even though Isaiah like cleaned it and stuff, but I was still like washing the hospital clothes that we had on, washing clothes that Zaire threw up on. He had threw up in his car seat on our way, like I said, going to the hospital. So I was trying to like do all the laundry and stuff, and you know, clean up at the same time, getting the boys situated. And when Isaiah had called me, of course I had to stop doing what I was doing, get the boys together and stuff, and then go take care of his crutches and stuff that he had left in the closet. Get to the place where Isaiah was at, y'all. He acted like this boy can walk. Isaiah. So I'm like, Isaiah, you cannot be serious. So now at this point, I'm taking him to the damn emergency room. I'm like, I just can't get a freaking break for nothing. Like, I told Isaiah, I don't know who keep me at the hospital the most between you and your son, honey. Like, you can't be serious. So I'm like, he like, I need to go to the hospital. He couldn't walk. His leg was buckling on him and stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness, I said, like, you cannot be serious. Like, I just came from the hospital yesterday and you taking me back to the hospital. Like, you cannot be serious. You can't. So we end up taking him. I end up taking the kids to my mama. My mama would live right around the corner from the hospital. And I ended up taking the kids to my mama. Well, Isaiah ended up going to the hospital. I ended up taking him to the hospital because his mama had made me up there and stuff as well. So his mama I ended up helping his mom take him out the car because he couldn't walk at all. And I had the kids in my car, but Isaiah, he had sat in the back seat of his mama car because he had to stretch his leg out. So he couldn't walk at all. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just take the kids to my mama house, and once they like registers Isaiah in and stuff like that, end up taking the kids to my mama house because ain't no telling how long we was gonna be up in there. So my mama ended up keeping them for literally like 2 hours. That's it. Cause it was like in and out with Isaiah. They did x-ray his leg, or his knee, I mean, they did x-ray his knee and see there was nothing broken because he didn't fall on his knee playing basketball. His knee just buckled, and when they buckled, like locked or whatever, he fell to the ground. So it didn't like he was trying to, it wasn't like he just actually fell on his knee. He just buckled and then he fell to the ground. And you know, honey, when you a mama, when you a mother and a wife, baby, you gotta do everything, okay? I mean everything. So I end up, you know, bringing him home from the hospital. I end up dropping Isaiah back off at home after, you know, they gave us his discharge paper and stuff like that. And then drop him back off at home, get him situated, and I had to go pick up the kids from my mama's house because I was like, baby, I told Isaiah, I said, honey, I am tired, okay? Tired. Today is Labor Day, y'all, and then my mama had called me like literally like 2 hours ago, told me that they ended up taking my grandma to the hospital. Y'all, I just can't catch a damn break, okay? I can't. I said, mama, I'm tired. I'm not going to the hospital. Just let me know what the hospital say. Let me know what the doctor say. If I don't gotta go up there, my grandma got plenty of kids to cover for her while she up there. Honey, I am tired. I cannot go to the hospital. I can't, no. So right now I'm at home making my video, and my mom and my aunties and them at the hospital checking to see you know what's going on with my grandma. Like, I am tired of the hospital, y'all. Like, I am tired. I've been there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then Saturday with Isaiah, then Sunday. Okay, we didn't take nobody to the hospital yesterday because yesterday was Sunday. Today, Monday, back at the hospital with my grandma. I'm tired. I said, nope, not today. Nope. So y'all, it was like, oh my goodness, I was like so burnt out, y'all. I was tired. Isaiah mama was like, girl, I know you tired of this hospital, baby. I said, I am, honey. Between your grandson and your son, and then my grandma, them three keep me well. So yeah, he been doing good though. He ain't been at the hospital like that. Neither one of them actually been at the hospital like that. But it was like, dang, the fact that back to back, all in 1 week type shit, like. So yes, y'all, that's why I've been at, y'all. I've been like burnt the freak out, okay? Like burnt out. I wasn't able to do nothing, okay? It was like, I was so happy when I finally did get discharged. Like, baby, I slept like a baby when I got discharged from the hospital. When they discharged Zaire from the hospital, because I was sleeping at him and stuff. And of course, he was like sleeping with one eye open because he trying to make sure I don't leave and go out the room. I only went to the bathroom when he like went to sleep and stuff because Zaire was not having it. Like him sitting up, I turned Coco Melon on TV for him. He would not, no. He's like, nope, you still not gonna leave me, okay? So I couldn't go to the bathroom unless he went to sleep. So when he finally went to sleep, that's when I went to the bathroom at the hospital. But right now, my baby is cool though. He's fine right now. I'm glad that he was able to, you know, get checked out and stuff, be well, breathing well and stuff. I do check his heart rate still, like throughout the day. he's still on the medicine that they had him on. They had him on medicine at the hospital, so he's still on that medicine to make sure, like, you know, nothing crazy don't happen again. And his heart rate been consistent. They showed me how to check his heart rate and stuff like that. I am getting a heart rate monitor from, I'm ordering one, so I can get his, you know, keep track of his heart rate and stuff like that, make sure it's accurate and all of the other stuff. So I do got that coming and stuff. So, you know, life been great. You know, Isaiah came home, he's, you know, he's well, he's back to his normal self, and, you know, he just himself. He's Zaire again, and I love that about him. He's walking and talking, eating and stuff back like how he was. He's doing all of that, so I'm very happy about that. And Isaiah, my husband, his knees still bothering him, and I have rubbed his knee this morning, like massaged it like 4 something this morning. He was, you know, up, you know, whining about his knee, you know, so I was up with him, you know, trying to make sure his knee is together, y'all, baby. And then I gave him a pain pill because he did say his knee was hurting, so I gave him a pain pill. So I was just like massaging it, make like the blood flow and stuff. It was a little swollen, so he do have to go see a knee doctor to make sure. Well, they did x-rays and stuff as well, but, you know, just he just have to do a follow-up. You already know how they always like follow up with your doctor when you leave the hospital. So it's like one of those with Isaiah. So yeah, right now they're sleeping, so I was able to squeeze this video in because they're in there sleeping, and all of them actually sleeping. I'm about to actually wake this Junior up in a little bit because it's like 4:36, and Junior have school tomorrow, so I don't want him to sleep too long, and I don't want him to just his sleep and be off track because he got school tomorrow, and I want him to be tired of school. So yeah. So yes, y'all. Yeah, this is where I've been, y'all. Like y'all said, I look tired, okay? I do. I made a video earlier, and this is my second one that I'm making. So yes, y'all. But I'm about to go ahead and end this video right here. I just basically want to come on here and let y'all know where I've been at. I'm about to go ahead and end this video right here, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so y'all can be notified when your girl quelanarsha drop these bangers, because they come for us 2022. That's what? Period, y'all. Period. And I'm gonna see